Hello, everyone. I'm back, and I am the woman who believes in herself and is here to support you in doing the same. So, I am continuing on with some stories from Australia. There are so many things that I learned about myself and parenting that I have realized over the years have impacted the ways that I show up and the things that I've done. And for those of you who didn't tune in to the last episode, I was holding the same mug. It's a polka dot mug that is representative of our time as a family in Australia in 2011. At the time, my husband, he was working there. And so our family had this incredible opportunity to go along with him. Our kids were 4, 6, and 8 at the time. And in my mind, I was going to be this mom who was going to homeschool. So I had always wanted and believed in the value of homeschooling. And here I had this opportunity. Not only did we have this opportunity to travel, but I had this opportunity to do some homeschooling, to kind of test it out for a couple months. And so I actually packed a completely an additional suitcase filled with paper and pencils and books and all these things. And we get into the first couple weeks of, well, I guess the first week. It didn't take long, the first week of being there, and I am trying to get our, 4, 6, and 8. So preschool, first grade, and third grade. I'm trying to get our third grader to write and our first grader to do some math. And our preschooler, I pull out this like book that I had brought on spiders. Like here I am, he's in preschool, and the teachers were amazing. They provided all this material for us to be gone for the beginning of a school year. So, but you know what? It was terrible. Here we were in Australia, in another country, and we were inside struggling, like struggling to get the work done, whatever that work was. And I just remember reading this book about spiders and saying to myself, what are we doing? I mean, we're in a country where there are some dangerous species. If we're going to learn about spiders, I bet you we can figure out and from a distance learn about the native species in Australia. And so from that moment on, I didn't necessarily have a plan, but I knew in my heart that sitting inside, struggling and pulling and pulling and pulling with our kids, and believe me, there were some disagreements. And I just said, let's get our shoes on and let's go outside. So the reason I tell you this today is because so much in our life is dictated by the ways that we, quote, think we should be, the paths we feel like we should be on. And at the end of the day, if our new intuition, if something inside of is our knowing says, this isn't where I'm supposed to be, this isn't what I'm meant for, I encourage you to listen to it, because by listening to my intuition and paying attention to the pull, the struggle, there was no flow. There's so much resistance, both from me and our kids. By paying attention to that knowing inside, we did not open that suitcase of things except to color and draw, and instead got out into the city, got out and went to Sydney day after day after day, and long, beautiful days of traveling and challenging days, of course, but mostly these beautiful days of exploring and living and learning. And how much greater of an education were the kids gaining by just being, by experiencing, by learning how to use public transportation, by meeting new people, by doing different things in a different country than they had or would have if they were in our own in the United States. So if you have the knowing, if you've been pushing and pushing and pushing, part of this comes back to believing in yourself and believing this voice inside of you knows what's best. All my best to you. Take care.